We are now live, it says. Alright. Hello, everybody. Get it up on my iPad. Maybe. Oh, come back here. If I don't clear it off first. Ah, there we are. Make sure my comments are going to show. Turn on the captions. I didn't put my hair tie in, tighten that up. Shows Anthony is watching. Hello, Anthony. Teresa's watching. Hello, Teresa. I'm a few minutes early, but I wanted to make sure everything's on and started. So I'll go over this again. Hello. But make sure that you've got your sanding block, your decal saying and leaves, your striping, and your craft knife. And some transfer tape. That'll be the first part. Oh, we had somebody else join us. Who else is watching? Alexis! Hi, Alexis! Give everybody a few minutes. We're early. I just want to make sure everything's going to go correctly as planned today. So we can fix any hiccups if we had them. Hopefully y'all did do as I say, not as I do, because I left here yesterday and left all my glues here, so I couldn't seal my glitter after I got home. So I kind of have some glitter runnage into my vinyl, but it's okay. It's all good. It'll be all right. So, kind of hang out, give everybody some time. Alexis, if you'll make sure you have your sanding block, your vinyl for the cup, both the leaves and the words, your striping, craft knife, and transfer tape. That'll be where we kind of start today. Howdy, good morning. Well, afternoon. Morning. Afternoon.
One of those.
Yeah, one of those.
Good
Something.
today.
Yeah, good day. Hello. Those of you joining us, we're going to start by sanding our rim. So make sure you've got your sanding block, your decal, your words and your leaves, your striping cuts, your craft knife, and transfer tape. That's going to be this first part that we'll go through here. So make sure you've got all of those with you. And for those of you that were on live with me last night, yesterday afternoon, apparently I'm having a hard time with times today. But anyway, for those of you that were on my live last night, I did bring some ornament magic and some empty ornaments that I'm going to do a live. I don't know if it will be tonight, because after this, my son and I are actually going to go watch the new Hunger Games movie. It's been a while since we've done anything together. So it'll be like 7 by the time we get out Central Time. So, and maybe tomorrow afternoon, but I did bring some ornament magic and some ornaments that I'm going to use to show y'all that had questions on that yesterday, how to do those. So that'll be something else I'll share.
You just have me print out a list of people who are doing it so I can do what Cross is doing.
Yeah. You're welcome,
I didn't
Casa.
think about that.
No problem.
Just tag everybody. Get in here.
Yeah. Invite. I know Sandy had asked about yesterday's live, so I think she's trying to catch up yesterday.
Yeah.
I think I saw a message come through, but it's so quick on my iPad when I've got the live going on my iPad. She was trying to do something. I don't remember. Well, I don't know what it said because it went so fast. So I know Sandy is.
Oh, there's Sandy.
There's Sandy. Okay. Yeah, there's for today, Sandy. Sandy, I don't know for sure if you were able to finish yesterday's live. I saw you asked a question, but it went so fast I didn't get to read what it was. So if you have a question, just let me know and I can see what you need. Give everybody another minute and then we'll get started. It's after 1. So for anybody that's joined after 1 here, these last few minutes, go ahead and get your sanding block and then have your 2 vinyls, your leaves and your saying, your striping cuts that I included in your kit, your craft knife, and some transfer tape. Have that ready and we will get started here in just a minute for everybody.
It's just been an hour trying to find the old life, or the life from yesterday.
Oh no. Oh Sandy, I'm so sorry. Casa has been like, once we get both or all the steps to our lives done, she's been like combining them into one and then putting them in the featured section. So it's making it a lot easier to find all of the different lives. So once this one is finished, make sure to kind of look up there for it too to make it a lot easier instead of searching through the whole thing. Also, if you need to find it before Casa does that, if you'll search my name in the group, it should pop up as well.
Yeah, I did it just a few minutes ago and it was Michelle McKinney, bam, right, everything right.
Perfect, yeah. Thanks, Casa, for tagging everybody. You're welcome, Sandy. Do we weed out our singing leaves? Yes, that was something that I had mentioned yesterday at the end, kind of in passing. So you do want to weed this out and weed out your leaves. It is clear, so just weed out around it. And then on your leaves, you'll see that these two here, these 2 sections, this one and this one, when I did the offset cut on them, I didn't realize that I could combine those together. So you can just take your knife and just cut right straight across that little bubble meat. That way you have two separate leaves and they're not connected. I didn't do that myself, so we're going to do that. Boop. Boop. There we go. That way they're not connected. Close that so I don't cut myself. Okay, thanks, Casa. But don't weed out your striping cuts. Don't weed these out. I'm going to show y'all something that I saw in a video that I was watching and I thought that is genius. So I'm going to share it with all of you. So.
Really do wish I could see who's viewing the live.
Who's in, yeah. Alright, everyone. Got 5 afters, so we're going to go ahead and get started. If you have questions, kind of let me know, but I will kind of pause and everything through the video like I did yesterday, just to make sure everybody's kind of caught up with me. Sorry, I'm
But
frog in my
let's
throat
make
all of
sure
a
we don't
sudden.
miss any.
Yeah. Anthony's here again today. My son helping me kind of moderate. I know Casa's in here today. Just coming from the church. We'll catch the replay. Awesome. Thanks, Sue. I'm going to go ahead and grab me a wipe because we're going to start with sanding just the top rim of our cup. I will use my I use my Scotty peeler on mine. I don't know if everybody has one of these, but I love them. It's like a 3-sided blade, and you can just kind of run it along. I kind of use my pole of my turner, and I kind of do it this way just to kind of help save my fingers. I don't want to slice my fingers open. I did pretty good. And I use this to get the rim cleaned off of any extra epoxy that kind of overflowed. And then I take my sanding block, and don't sand the whole cup. We're just going to clean up this kind of rough edge. If you have a rough edge from the glitter up top, just lightly. And the sanding blocks that I included in y'all's kit is a coarser one, so very lightly just clean it up. What I do, I know I'm out of view of this overhead camera, so just watch me in this one here. But what I do is I kind of just take my sanding block and just go right around that top rim of my cup. Then I kind of fill it. Still got a rough spot kind of right there. So doing this will just kind of help whenever you go to do your next layer of epoxy, so you don't have so many layers of epoxy that's bumpy and you're trying to sand, and then it's bumpy and you're trying to sand. I don't like having to epoxy my cup 5 times to get it nice and smooth. So I try to take care of my rough spots on this initial step here. Alright, much better. And then I'll take my disinfectant wipe. You can spray some alcohol on a paper towel, use that too. Something just to get that nice and cleaned up, because we don't want all those, that sanding dust under our vinyl whenever we apply that in just a second. Get me a paper towel. Dry that off. Alright. So, once we've got that done and that's nice and smooth, we're ready to move on to our decaling. And like I said, don't sand the rest of this because these I printed on clear adhesive. And so if you put these over a sanded cup, the epoxy is not going to get to that sanded spot to smooth it back out and make it nice and shiny and pretty again. You're going to always see the sanding lines underneath that decal. So don't do that. Just the top. Alright. Give everybody a minute to get their sanding and cleaning done. And then we'll move on to applying our decal on the back like we did on this one here. Give everybody another minute and then we'll start our decal. Alright, I don't see any questions or anything coming through, so we're going to go ahead and start on our decal. So I take my decal and I put it on the table, and then I kind of use like what I call the taco method. I kind of taco my transfer tape with the sticky side out, and I put it over the middle of my decal, and then I just kind of let it fall out. And then I use my squeegee. Squeegee that on. And then once I get my transfer tape on, I never try to have my transfer tape yank up my vinyl. I just turn it over and then I pull the backing off to make sure that it's all going to come off nice and smooth. And then what I do is I will lay my backing just slightly back down so that way I can line it up on my cup without it just automatically sticking. Let's see, I'm kind of getting my cup even on my cup cradle here. Let's see. It looks like it's pretty even to me. So, got that evenly on there. And you can see it's kind of big enough, it's going to really cover the whole side of the wood grain. So just try to keep an eye on if you have the same amount or close to the same amount top and bottom, so you don't get it too high and you don't get it too low. I'm going to try to do this sitting down because I usually do this standing up, but we're going to go for it. Let's see here. Let's go this way. Very hard to get things straightened while I'm sitting down. Sorry if you see the top of my head. Okay, so I'm going to use my excess transfer tape to adhere it and then kind of take a look, pick it up, look at it. There. I think I need to go a little further to this side, honestly. I use my fingers as measuring tapes. I use that method more than anything. I don't have to grab anything else. Try not to let it move so I can just slide it just a little bit that way. Stick my transfer tape back down. There we go. That looks more even to me, side to side. And then top to bottom. Looks pretty even there too. So, alright. How's everybody doing on getting their vinyl placement on their cup? Know when you've got your vinyl on there, or vinyl. Alexis is good, awesome. Still working on it, not a problem. Give everybody a minute, another minute here. Just let me know when you've got it on there, and then we'll move forward. And everybody to be able to keep up with me. I don't want to leave anybody behind if at all possible.
Right. So that's never fun.
Yeah, it's not fun trying to pay attention to what's going to come up and trying to catch up and still working on what you did do, and so I try to let everybody catch up. I think part of that's from me teaching in-person classes for so long. Who's all crafting along with me? I know I got Alexis, Teresa, Linnell. Anybody else creating along with us? all good. All right, Alexis all good. Teresa's all good. Linnell, how we doing? Got it on there? Mute my watch while I'm waiting because it's decided it wants to go off.
Let's be talking today.
Yeah. Linnell's good. All right. Perfect. Okay, so now once we've got it kind of just stuck on here with our transfer tape onto the sides, we're going to leave one side, whichever side you're more comfortable with. Leave one side of your transfer tape stuck to your cup. Pull up the other side. And then pull it over. Take off this backing. And then just like yesterday how we applied our vinyl with our fingers, we're going to do the same thing. Just kind of roll that transfer tape over. Let all your vinyl adhere. Use your squeegee. Squeegee that down nice and good. Get it all stuck. And once you've done that, go ahead and remove that transfer tape. And I don't throw away my transfer tape. I keep it until it just won't pick up anything anymore. So I have little backings of transfer tape. I've got backings of vinyl. I've got stuff everywhere. At home I have like a big cutting mat and I have my little pieces of transfer tape just stuck to the table underneath it. So it's always handy.
We recycle around here.
I do. I recycle. I hate wasting. Do not like to waste things. Kind of give it a quick look over, see if you got any air bubbles you need to pop or anything like that, any edges that didn't get pushed down. Just kind of do a once over, get all of that taken care of. And then we've got our vinyl, just like the other one. So give everybody a few to catch up with that, and then we'll start applying our leaves. And I have a small piece of transfer tape for my leaves. So, we'll do that next. Let me know. I'm just watching the cut part. Just got it sealed this morning. Okay, no problem, Stacy. Sounds good.
Now I know we had a lady yesterday asking about doing it the opposite way, so she would put the saying on her leaves instead of the wood.
Yes, if the lady who did ask about the cutting the wood instead of the leaves yesterday, yeah, if you did do that, then you're putting your saying on your leaf side. Yes. So, whatever full vinyl side you chose to have, that's where you want this saying. I was just worried about these black letters not showing up with some of the veining in the leaves on this side, but that's what you wanted. You do you, boo. It's your cup, so make yourself happy.
Right. Hey, you paid for it.
That's right.
You do whatever you want.
You do whatever you want. I have this one bump down here. It's driving me crazy and I can't sand my cup, so I'm going to use my Scotty peeler and just kind of knock the edge off the top. There we go. I do that quite often too. The one spot that wants to be pesky. Alright, everybody good with applying your saying? We still waiting on anybody? Hang out a minute and let's see. Your Scotty Pillar Amazon. You can get them on Amazon. I get them from the Glitter Guys website because they're a lot cheaper. You get like a 2-pack for the same price as you get one on Amazon. So I prefer to get them from there. But I love, love, love my Scotty Peeler. I use it for my rims, cleaning up my rims, and I use it for what I just did there. But yeah, it's this lovely It's called a Scotty peeler. Be very careful. I keep the foam inside of my little sleeve for it just so it keeps my blade sharp. But it has a blade on all 3 sides, so it comes in very handy. And I just slide it right back in there. It keeps it protected whenever I've got it in my little bin of tools, and it keeps your hands protected from getting cut if you put your hand in there. I will get from Joe Lear. Yeah, I don't know if Joe has the Scotty peelers, but if he does, that's amazing. Lexus is good. Teresa good. Alright, Linnell, we good? Huh?
Tried linking the Scotty peeler in there. I don't think
Linnell's good. Okay. I didn't see it go through. Alright, so now that we've got that, we're going to turn our cup over to the glitter triangle-y part, whatever shape you want to call that. So, at this point, it's kind of just figuring out how you want your leaves to look. I'm going to kind of mimic the same type of pattern I got going on this other cup here. But you can put more leaves, you can put fewer leaves and put a name. Just be creative. However you want to do this, you do it the way you want it to look. So I'm going to start with one of these bigger ones here, and I'm going to just take my transfer tape and I'm going to pull up one of the leaves. I'm going to start in this corner, and I'm just going to kind of go right in that area with it. Smush it down with my finger, pick up my transfer tape. It's as easy as that. I love that these are printed on clear, so in the veining of the leaves you actually get that glitter pop coming through, so you can actually see the glitter coming through the little pieces of your leaf. So I really like the way that that looks. So next we're just going to grab another leaf. Again, just kind of keeping the same pattern that I did on this one. Oh, come back here. Dropped it before I wanted it. Push it down with your finger. Pull that transfer tape off. Let's see, this next one is a bigger one. Grab one of these down here. And if you didn't catch it earlier, whenever I did the offset to cut these, it did connect these two and these two. So just take your craft knife and just cut those two apart, just in the clear space between them. So this one I kind of want.
Oh, it did work.
Okay, did it finally go?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Casa put in there too.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Casa. Thanks, Anthony. Alright, so now, whoop, come back here. So now that one is a little, kind of a medium-ish one. So I'm going to grab that one, not that one. Kind of go from this top corner. I kind of wanted mine just kind of going every which way. I didn't want them all the same way. Because when leaves fall from trees, they don't fall right side up. They don't all fall the same way. So I have them all kind of scattered and going different directions. Transfer tape on that one. Kind of want that one. Come in from there. Push that one down. And then we'll grab a little one. Like this little guy kind of down here. Don't get it too close to where your two vinyls meet, because if you get it too terribly close, your striping is going to end up covering it up. It's not bad if that does happen. Just keep that in mind, that if you get it all the way to where your vinyl meets, our striping may cover it up in a second. And I'm going to go with this little one here. And let's see. We're going to kind of go that way with him. And depending on how big of an area you made, because I just kind of started at about I think it's about 2 inches down from this side, and then just kind of found the angle I like. They may not all fit. You can kind of see my two. This one is a little bit bigger than this one, so these are a little bit closer than they are on this cup. And I also have 3 more left. What I'm going to do with one of my extras is I'm actually going to put it on the bottom of my cup. I like little details added on the bottom of my cup, so I'll do that a lot. Just take and decorate the bottom. No reason that the bottoms have to be plain. I like putting things down here. So I kind of just take and lay it where I want it, and I'll just kind of push the center down and then work my finger around, because that bottom of the cup kind of has that little indent. So I push the center down and then work my finger around the rest of it and get it all nice and in that little groove. There we go. So I still have 2 leaves left over. No reason why you couldn't put some. You know, there's kind of a space here that could go. There's a space here that you could put it in. Whatever you want to do it. I think I am going to put a leaf over here. Have something in that space. Right like that. And then this one we're going to put over here. Let's see. It's kind of going that way, so I think I'm going to make this one kind of go this way. There we go. Now we've got all of those on there. So now you have your leaves on wherever you wanted your leaves, and you have your saying on the back. So I'll leave that there so y'all can kind of see where I put mine, and hang out and wait for anybody to ask questions or catch up, and then I'll show you my trick to the striping when we get ready to put our stripes on. Or not my trick. The trick I found, so I'm taking it. I saw it in another live from somebody, and please forgive me, I do not remember which one. I watch so many lives, but I am not gonna not do this ever again. Let me know if you have questions as you go. Let me know when you're ready to move on. Turn this one that way in case anybody needs to see the back part, and this one for the front. Ready? The nail's good. Awesome. All right. Teresa, how we doing? I know we've got you crafting along with us too. When everybody gets done with your cups, share them. I want to see how yours came out. See if you did anything different or whatever. I want to see them. I like seeing the finished projects from people that follow along with me. I think it's the neatest thing. Ready now? Okay. All right. So what we're going to do now is our striping. But before we weed this out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my craft knife. You can even take a pair of scissors, but not always the best at cutting a straight line. I'm going to take my craft knife. And you see how you have your striping that's cut out, and then you have that little space between the two, that one and your next one. I've always just weeded that out and thrown it in the trash. But if you take your craft knife, I'm going to see if I can do this to where y'all can see it. It's kind of hard because it's black. But you just take your craft knife and cut from that one to the next one, and then do that all the way down. You actually get twice the amount of stripes out of this one sheet. Try to do this, and then I'll lift it to the camera so y'all can kind of see But I'm literally just taking my craft knife and just making an end cut to all of those in between cuts. Let's see if y'all can see that, maybe, kind of, sort of. It's kind of hard to get in the camera right. You can kind of sort of see where I made all those cuts. So that way, we'll do that on both sides first. And then we'll weed this out, and we will have twice the amount of stripes. And this will give you two different sizes too, so, because the in-between ones are smaller than the ones that I cut for y'all's kits. So once you get that done on both sides, then go ahead and weed around the outside. If you didn't get it cut all the way through, kind of like I didn't get that one all the way through, just take and hold that down as you're weeding it out. It's kind of hard. I have my silicone mat underneath my dill, so it doesn't really have a good hard surface to cut, so it didn't really want to cut very well. I need to bring one of my cutting mats up here so I can have a surface to actually cut on. It'll cut all the way through and not cut my silicone mat. Alright. Hang on, guys. I know I'm going to be off camera just a second, but my silicone mat is not sturdy enough for me to cut these all the way through, and I don't want to cut up my silicone mat. There we go. Alright, let go. This one off of there, came up. Lay that back down. Alright, so there's my tip on cutting stripes, because now you have two different sizes and you have twice as many, so we don't want to waste anything. Transfer tape down there. Alright, so now once we've got that, keep your craft knife handy. And we're going to start striping our cup. I'm going to use the bigger ones to go around my cup. And then if you have any places that you want to do like a smaller stripe on the inside, or a smaller stripe here and a smaller stripe here, however you want to stripe your cup, do it that way. But I'm going to follow kind of the same thing I did for this one. So we're going to outline our wood grain the whole way around. We're going to do this angled line here and the whole bottom of our cup. So I'm going to start with one of my bigger ones. Just going to pull it off of here. Well, come back here. Start to one of the ones that came up. Let go. Alright. And I kind of just take my cup on my little cup cradle in front of me. And I have my striping cut. And I just go all the way down. If you have a space where you cut too much on your cuts when you were cutting your leaf yesterday, just make sure that you get it maybe closer to that. If you have your wood grain nice and straight, just go right at the edge of your wood grain to cover up any little mishap with your vinyl cutting yesterday on your leaf pattern. So I'm going to take my knife, I'm going to cut the bottom, and I'm going to cut the top. Just right straight across, even with my vinyl bottom and my vinyl top. And I'm going to turn it. I'm going to do the other side here. Grab another big one. Straight over that. Straight across the bottom again. Straight across the top again. Again, right even with our wood grain vinyl top and bottom. Turn it this way towards me. Grab my next big one. And now I'm going to do the top of my wood grain. And this is matte black 651, so it's not transparent. So like up here where we do have those sanding lines, it's okay to put this over it because it's solid. You're not going to see through it. And then everywhere above and below this vinyl is going to be epoxied over, and it'll take care of those sanding lines. So don't worry about trying to miss those sanding lines. Just do your striping right where you like. Go all the way across the top of that wood grain. And then whenever I'm cutting this, I'm going to cut it right on the outside. Come back here. Right on the outside edge of my other stripe to kind of finish it off right there. And then I'm going to do the same over here. Outside edge of this side. And we've got that nice finished off box around the sides and the top of our wood grain. Don't worry too much about the bottom of your wood grain right now because we're going to do one whole stripe around the bottom of our cup. So we're going to see if the rest of this stripe that we've got left that we did the top with is long enough to do this angled area or not. Let's see. I'm going to try to put this right here. Match this up. Yay, it is. Awesome. Alright, so I just started basically the points right here. If you go over, that's fine. Just take your craft knife and just cut it even. And then go right on around. Cut it even over here. Pull that off. So now we've got the two sides and the top of our wood grain and this angled piece of our leaves. So once we've got that, we're going to do it around the bottom of our cup. What I like to do is I like to just start at one point or the other of my stripe that's coming down. I will start there, go all the way around so I know to end at that same mark, and you don't have like a random meetup point in some other spot of your cup. So take this one. Here. Come on. All the way around, using your vinyl kind of as your straight edge. All the way around the bottom of your cup. And then when you get back to the other side, what I like to do is kind of take and lift up the remainder of this stripe And I don't go like right at where I met. I do go a little bit past it. And I just take my cup will sit straight. I just take my knife and I just kind of go whoop and cut that off and lay that down. So that way I don't risk cutting through my striping and pulling it all up whenever I pull it up. Not get that exactly straight all the way around, but it'll be okay. So that's what we should have now. Give everybody a few minutes to catch up. Oh, there's my bubble popping pen. Got a bubble that's driving me crazy in this word, so get that out of there. Okay, how's everybody doing on their striping? We know how it's going. Good. Awesome. I'm going to see what one of these look like. I'm interested to see if I'm going to like it with a little stripe here or not. Okay, not a problem. I'm going to experiment for a second. I actually kind of like that. I think I'm going to put one of those smaller in-between stripes on this part of my cup. If you want to, go for it. If you don't, that's okay too. I like striping my cups. To me, it makes them feel kind of finished off. So I'm definitely big on striping. I like that a lot. Just kind of adds that little touch to it. Let me know when y'all are done with your striping. And really, that actually finishes up our cup. It just needs the final coat of epoxy and you're good to go in your cup. So, yay. So once you've got all your striping done, you can go ahead and start getting prepared to do your keychain. I'm kind of set this here so anybody can see it if they still need to. And then for those of you that are ready to move on, go ahead and grab your Give Thanks keychain decals, your blank, your hardware. This is what we're going to be creating. Grab your UV light and your UV resin. And just kind of have all that ready, and grab a mixing cup as well. As I use my glitter, oh, and your glitter, speaking of that, I put me some glitter in my UV resin, and that's what I use for the back of my keychain, and then the front is just clear. But I mix it all together in a little cup. So once you're done with your striping, go ahead and gather these materials, and we'll move to that once everybody kind of lets me know that they're ready to move forward.
Good.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. I didn't know if everybody had a cutting machine to be able to cut your stripes, so I included the stripes. I'll post what size I cut these at. I know it's 11.5, but I cut 3 different sizes of stripes personally, depending on what project I'm doing. So I will look and see exactly. This is the medium one I usually do, but I'll post exactly what sizes I usually cut my stripes at, so that way you'll have them if you want to cut stripes later on. But I didn't know if everybody would have. All good. I surprised myself with the stripes. Yeah, see?
Definitely post it.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you post them after y'all get done. I love the striping. Like I said, to me, it finishes it off. It adds that last little detail that I think is needed. So, I love them. I love striping. But yeah, I will definitely post my striping sizes after we get done in this post, and that way y'all can know what size I cut those at, and then what size I normally do mine. Like I said, I use 3 different ones. Running to grab my mixing cup. No problem, Sandy. Go right ahead. Yeah, no problem at all. We still got 45 minutes, and it's not going to take that long to do the keychains, so we'll definitely have time to let everybody catch up. We'll have time for some questions and all that fun stuff. Everybody like my little tip on the stripes? That way you get twice the amount in 2 different sizes all in one piece of vinyl. I thought that was just the neatest thing whenever he did that, and I thought, why didn't I think of that? But I will never not do that again. My little silicone stick so I can have it for my UV resin.
Definitely use both sizes.
Yeah. Yes. Awesome. 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 Yeah, it's very rare that I do a cup. Yes, I'll be doing that from now on. Yes. Yeah, it's just I do not like wasting material. I know, the adhesive 651's not real expensive per sheet, but still. I'm like, if you cut a whole sheet and you weeded all those stripes out, you threw half of your sheet in the trash. And I'm like, that's just, no, drives me crazy. So, yeah, I'm so glad that I came across that. So, yeah, just let me know when y'all are ready, and we will move on to our next step.
Sandy said she is back.
Awesome. There's our finished product that we're going for. Have those up there. My glitter. And don't take off the paper on these just yet, because we're only going to remove one side at a time. Sandy back. Teresa said she was good. Alexa said she was good. Linnell, are we good to move to the keychain? Or do you need another minute or so? Let me know. Go ahead and cut these apart. Just gonna do one for now. And let's see. Transfer tape again. That one's too big that I used earlier. That one's too small, but I think this one would be good. There we go. All right. Awesome. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by figuring out our front and back first. So our front is going to line up with the details of your decal. So this like really curvy side is going to be up and to the left. So what we want to do is we want to remove the back. So once you figure out the front, flip it upside down and remove that paper backing. Kind of takes a second. I usually just try to get my nail underneath one of the corners and then pull that off. Try not to get your fingers all over it. We want to keep that nice and clean for our glitter adhesion. So try not to touch it too much. I do know some people take and like sand it before they put their glitter on. I don't. I haven't had any problems with it lifting. If you have and would like to sand it, feel free to do so. As long as you don't overcook it, I haven't had any problems with it lifting. So it's totally up to you. If you want to go ahead and lightly sand it, I'll give you all a minute to lightly sand, get that cleaned, and get ready to go. But we are going to need our glitter, our UV resin, a little cup, whoop, come back here, and a stir stick. I have like the little silicone ones, it's the ones I love to use. You can use a popsicle stick or whatever you use to stir your epoxy. That can be used for this as well. So I'll give everybody a minute if they want to sand theirs, need to sand theirs, get it clean, dry back off, and then we'll put our UV resin in our cup and our glitter. I couldn't tell you how much UV resin I use in these. I will try to tell you when I get it in the cup. I'm just like, I squirt in there and I'm like, that looks good. So I'll do that and then I'll see actually how much I did put in my cup because I don't ever look. I just squirt until I think it's good. Give everybody a minute and then we'll move forward. And you do have two blanks in your deal. You can do both of them with the glitter that matches your cup. You can do neither one with the glitter that matches your cup. You can do whatever glitter you want on the back. Totally up to you. I'm just going to use the one that matches my cup. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and put my UV resin in my little mixing cup here. And the key to this is to not put so much glitter in your UV resin that it is like a paste. You still want it to be where it's liquidy and will still move around, still have some give, where you can move it around on the back of your keychain and still have it flatten out. Probably good. Let's see, this is 5 mLs is where I stopped. So kind of what we're going to start with. 5 mLs. So I'll give y'all a minute to get your UV resin in your cup. At home I usually use like the little cups that have a little spout on one side and the handle on the other side. I don't have any of those up here at the store with me. And they don't have I don't think they have the markings on them. If they do, I've never paid attention. So I just look at it and be like, that looks good enough. We move on. So kind of what I normally do. And then the same for my glitter, I just eyeball it. I will kind of put some in, mix it up, look on my stick, see if it looks like it's too thin or too thick or whatever. Just kind of eyeball it by that. So we're kind of going to do the same thing. I'll give y'all another minute, and then we will put our glitter in and mix it up, see what we're looking at. Don't judge my blank cup. That's the only cup that I use. It's blank. It's for my loaded tea. Everything else in my life is decorated, normally purple. Alright, so now we're going to open up our glitter. And I'm just going to pour some in. Try not to be too heavy-handed to start with. I know it's kind of hard to see. There-ish is what I've got. Again, it's kind of hard to see how much I put in there. And then we're going to mix it up. So you want it to mix to where it's not like a thick paste. You want it to kind of pour off of your, I got a hair on my mixing stick. You want it to kind of pour off your mixing stick. You want it to be able to level back out in your cup. And you don't really want to see too much through it. So like if you have it on your stick and you have some on there, if you can really see your mixing stick, add a little bit more glitter and mix it back up again, and then see what you get then. Because you don't want to see a whole lot of your mixing stick, but you don't want it so thick that it doesn't run back off. Kind of here is a pretty perfect consistency that we're looking for. We don't want it running off, we want it just kind of dripping off.
Nice good taste.
Yeah. So, I'll let y'all get your glitter mixed, and then we'll move to the next step. And I prefer to use more finer cuts on these. You can certainly use the chunkies. It's just going to take a little bit more UV resin to get a chunky smooth, because it's chunky, so it takes a little bit longer to get all those chunks smoothed over and everything like that. But you can certainly use a chunky. Just keep in mind it's going to take more resin to make it smooth. And the nice thing about UV resin is like it's not gonna cure on me while I'm kind of waiting for everybody to catch up or anything like that. Like if it doesn't get sun, it's still gonna be just the same liquid as it is right now. So we have time for everybody to get caught up. And then I'll show you how I apply it to the back, and then I'll give y'all some time to get it applied to yours, so that way you can kind of watch how I do it, and then you can do yours. So, what I normally do is I start by pouring some in the middle of my blank, and then I work it out towards the edges, because if you're not careful and you get too close to the edges, you're just going to have spillage, and then you cure it, and then you're trying to clean it up with a craft knife and all of that stuff. It just kind of becomes a mess if you're not careful. So I take and I pour mine in the middle. And then I just kind of take and work it to the edges. Push, pull, push it towards the edge. Just kind of keep going around. You don't want to like crazy scrape your blank when you're putting it on here to pull it. You just want to lightly just kind of go over the top of the resin that's on here. If you get to the bottom and it is pulling everything off, if you'll notice I still have some in my cup. You can pour some back on it, but again, pour it in the middle. Don't pour it at the edge that you're working on. We don't want it to spill over. It just becomes a pain. Especially on something like this, it's got a lot of curves. It's hard to get a straight edge into some of these curves to clean it out. So just take and pull it to the edges. I kind of use my silicone thing here, silicone stir stick, kind of as a scoop, and just scoop up some out of the cup and kind of put it in the middle pile, and then keep working around. When you get to the hole at the top, work around the hole. Try not to get it in the inside of it, because again, it'll fill it up, then you gotta drill it out or scrape it out or whatever, and that becomes a pain too. It's very hard to get sometimes to get that out of there. So just work the same way all the way around, up and around. Add a little bit more. Work it out. Edge, and around that hole. Once you get it to where everything has some coverage, I take and I'll look at it and see if anything looks like thin, because down here you can kind of see where I was running out of the resin. So I'll take again and put some, not right at the edge, just above it, and I'll work some of that extra glitter down to those edges to where it has more glitter in that resin. I have a push and pull action here. Once you get all your edges nice and covered, I kind of take and I'll go around it like I am now, and I'll just kind of see if all of my edges look shiny, where you can see like the liquid consistency of the UV resin. Just make sure all your edges look shiny, none of them look like you have a divot and it's just a flat acrylic part. Okay, all of mine looks really good and covered. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get my UV light on this. I usually do 2 rounds of 120 seconds. When I'm using the lamp I'm gonna use today, typically I like to use the gray ones that everybody's, well, almost everybody is using nowadays, the big gray ones that you just turn it on and it's on, and then I just kind of keep track of the time, so I don't have to constantly turn it off and on. Clean off my stir stick, and I'll get my light on it. Let me know if y'all have any questions while you're getting the UV resin on your keychain. We have a question? Oh, Linda. I'm always late. That's okay, Linda. That's okay. All the lives are definitely saved, so you'll be able to go back and watch. We're working on our keychain right now. We just got the glitter and UV resin mixed up to apply to the back, and I'm actually curing that right now. So you are okay. Here's my glitter. We don't want to make a glitter mess everywhere. I know my table is not level because it ran off one of my sides, so I'll have to clean that off.
Teddy asked, how long to cure?
I go 2 rounds of 120 seconds on mine. Mine has the 60 seconds and the 120 seconds, so if I push the button twice, it goes to 120. I usually do 2 rounds of 120. Printing the water slides for my class along, got the glitter all mixed up, waiting for it to cure. Sweet! Linda, I'm excited. I'm excited for your class too. I've never worked with water slides, so that's going to be fun. I've seen them. I know a lot of people have used them. We actually sell them in the store, but I've never used them personally myself. So I'm excited to try the water slides.
Hopefully your cups come in.
I know. Linda, did your cups finally come in? Did you finally get them in? There's one round. Yeah, needs another round. Oh. There it goes. Must have pulled the plug out.
She said in her other comment, just waiting for cups.
Okay.
No,
Jennifer is supposed to get them tomorrow, hopefully. Fingers crossed, hopefully she does.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully she does. I'm excited for that one. I'm ready to try something new. I love to teach, but I love to learn. So, because I'm one of those people that believe that if you think you've learned everything, you are so wrong. You're always going to be learning something. My parents are in their 70s, and they'll still tell you they still learn stuff. As soon as she gets them, she's supposed to stop by the mall and get to me at the everything ready. So once they're healed, I'll get them packed up, stop putting labels on for shipping, and they'll go right back in the next day, hopefully. Very cool. That's awesome.
The closer it gets to Christmas, the slower everybody gets.
I know, yeah, this shipping around Thanksgiving, Christmas is kind of crazy.
And more expensive.
Mm-hmm. Definitely more expensive. And then their holiday handling fees and stuff like that, I'm just like, ugh. Alright, there was my second round, so let's see what we got. Yeah, you can see how my table is definitely not level because it ran over the same side on both top and bottom up there. I'm going to take and I'm going to use a wipey, disinfectant wipe and kind of wipe this off right quick, and then I'm going to cure it again just so I don't have sticky all over the place. Because I don't want everything to be sticky. Wipe off my mat. And this is also why we leave this other cover on. So that way that didn't get onto the pretty side that we need nice and clean and clear for our decal. So that's why we only remove one side at a time. Alright. That wiped off. Dry it off. I guess at least it's good that it happened. I can show you how I clean it up when it does happen. I'm going to cure it right quick. What is up? There we go. I'm going to cure this side. So I've got the paper side up. I'm going to cure the back side of that epoxy because it didn't cure whenever it was the other way around because the glitter kind of blocks that UV resin from going all the way through. And so it's still sticky on the bottom side. So we're going to flip it right side up or upside down, whatever you want to call it. Technically it's right side up. But with that brown side up, we're going to flip that up and cure it right quick so it's not sticky, and I can use my craft knife to get that cleaned off. It's my first time ever doing something like this. I wish it would have went better. Yeah, I was nervous about it too. This is my first time I've done anything live. So I was super nervous about going live. But it's been okay. But it's okay, Linda. It will be fine.
Yeah.
Everybody is understanding. At least everybody that I've met is understanding, especially in this group. It seems like a great group of people. So it's okay. Things happen. It is what it is. We kind of have a motto around here. We just roll with it. We kind of take what comes with us, or comes to us in stride, and we make whatever work, and we roll with it. So it is okay.
We've never had a plan that went to plan.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, a lot of plans they're kind of like, well, that's what I thought I was going to do, but yeah, So it's okay. Yes, they happen. Yeah. I haven't seen anybody that is rude or tacky or anything like that in this group, so I think we're in a good group of people, Linda. I wouldn't worry about it at all. I know my sister and I both signed up for your class, and we were both the same way, and I was like, hey, it's okay. When you get all your stuff in, just let us know when it gets rescheduled.
Stuff happens.
Totally fine. Yeah, things happen. Okay. So I've got that cured. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow along. You can see the edge of your acrylic blank with the paper backing back here. I'm going to follow along with my craft knife, and I'm just going to kind of take and cut through that UV resin. I just kind of do a rocking back and forth, kind of like a sawing motion with my craft knife to cut through that. Trying to keep it just as flat as I can to not cut into the acrylic, to take off like a sliver of that. And take that. Try not to I know you'll want to force it up. Don't do that. If you do that and it's still connected, because it's still all connected to the cured part over here, you could actually pop off a piece of this also. So try not to resist the urge to pull that off of there. Just nice and saw motion right through, and then we'll come back this way and start at one of those edges and saw through, and then you've got it to where you can pull it off because it's no longer connected. And if you need to, just go back in. You can see where it's kind of still cloudy, where the UV resin still is. Just go back in and just cut that right off. There we go. Got just a tiny bit there. This just tells me that I need to level my table, because it all went off one side. There we go. And this last piece down here. As far as we can, kind of that way. We'll come this way. Get that sawed off. Be careful, don't cut yourself. If you have to do this, be careful. One side, back to the other. There we go. Now we got it all cleaned off. We're good to go. These pieces in the trash can, so don't have to worry about them. Nell said she's excited for your class. That's my sister. We are both very excited. All right. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know if you're finished with the back of your keychain, and then we will move forward to get the front. So make sure you've got your give thanks decal I did for you and a piece of transfer tape for it, and make sure you've weeded this out already, so it's good to go. Ready for Teresa. All right. Was transfer tape in the box? It wasn't. I did not think about including transfer tape in the box. Hopefully you have some transfer tape. If not, masking tape, painter's tape will also work. You can just use a piece of it down the middle and use that to line it up and everything too. So if you have your painter's tape or your masking tape that we used for our cups yesterday, that will work too if you don't have transfer tape. I kind of cut my paper backing a little closer to my decal. So that way when we go to get this lined up in a second, it'll be a lot easier instead of having all this excess white on the outside. Give me a thumbs up if we're ready to move on. Give everybody another minute or so, and then we'll move to the front of our keychain blank. I know. Found some transfer tape in my cookie box. Opening now. Awesome. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready to rock and roll. Now, that's the only thing I don't like about the Facebook Lives is that I can't have music. I'm a music person. I want music going all the time. What is the best way to get the resin out of the hole? Yeah. So, some people have those little like hand drills that you can use to kind of drill through and get that out. If you have your knife, you can kind of poke through and get it out that way. Don't poke through the front, because if you poke through the front to kind of get it broken through, you're going to push your epoxy or your resin off the back. So to get that hole started, just kind of work with your knife down and then kind of do the circle motion, kind of like this, to clean that hole out. I don't have one of my little hand drills up here, or I could show y'all, but they have like the little hand drills that you can use. I also have like a plug-in, like a nail sander file kind of thing. It's got one of those like really pointy pieces on it. It's kind of like this shape right here, but it's like a file, and that's super nice to get through there too. Excuse me, I keep getting like this weird itching in my throat, but you can like just go bzzz, and it'll go right through that, and you can clean it out. Those are nice too. I found that on Amazon, I'm pretty sure. Give me a thumbs up when we're ready to move on. And we'll finish out our keychain, and then I will show y'all how to get this on. Seems fairly explanatory, but I hate the way they ship these because it's backwards. So we'll go over that in a minute too. Good. Okay. My nail's good. I think Teresa said she was good a while ago. Never used transfer tape, which is one we peel. So if you have your transfer tape that's on the backing, so you'll take the sticky off of that backing. Save that backing though, so that way you can put your transfer tape back on it to use this transfer tape later. But yeah, you'll get a piece of your transfer tape, the sticky side, and you can cut just a piece big enough for your keychain blank decal. Just cut that off and then save that paper backing so you can put it back on there. Alexis, how you doing? Are we good? We got a good from Linnell, a good from Teresa. Sandy's preparing her transfer tape. I don't know if Alexis is still on. Oops, let's not do that. There we go. thumbs up. Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and get this ready. So now what we're going to do is we're going to remove this paper protective cover off of the other side. Get our fingernails started up underneath there as best as we can. I think this is the hardest part. There we go. All right. Remove that. Again, try not to touch that clean surface so we don't have fingers and smudges or fingerprints and smudges and whatnot underneath that. Once that's done, get your decal, get your transfer tape. My transfer tape is kind of rolling up on me, but again, I like to taco it, put it in the middle, let it fall out flat. Squeegee it down. And then turn it over and remove the paper backing. But same as a while ago, once we remove it, we're going to kind of place it right back down. But what we're going to do on this one is we're going to kind of place it where we can still see a tiny bit of our edge and the top. So that way we can actually line it up with our blank. So this right here is kind of what we're going for. Squeegee it on, remove it, and then place it back, giving yourself to where you can see some of the top and just a little bit of the side. Because, and you don't want to reveal too much of the side because we don't want that really to stick down, because we're going to need to do this to pull this backing off and then work it down. So just enough to where we can see if it's going to line up or not. Everybody a second to get that done. And this is where it's really going to get tricky for me to do this sitting down, so y'all might see me stand up.
Sorry if I missed a comment. I don't think my comments are working anymore.
Uh-oh. Let's see. Last one I have is Sandy. I had a thumbs up like bubble pop a while ago.
Oh.
That's the thumbs up I saw. So, alright. So now what we're going to do, because I am going to stand up, is I'm going to take, and you're going to line this up with your blank. But as you're doing this, you're going to kind of look and see if all of this is going to line up with your blank. So what we want is that top TH to where it looks like it's nice and even spacing on both sides and on the top. And then we want our little bubbles to line up there. That's how we want it to kind of look right now. Don't push this part down. Go ahead and kind of mash this down with your finger. That's what we're going for.
Sandy said, can you repeat what you said, I believe, before you started putting the decal on the keychain? For sure.
Okay. So repeat what I said. Let's just start from going over the whole thing. So on your transfer tape, I take and like taco mine. Let me grab another piece of transfer tape. So I like to taco my transfer tape. Place it on the center of my, here, I'll grab this one. I have another one. Place it on the center of my decal and let it kind of work its way out. Then you're going to take your squeegee and you'll squeegee that down nice and good. Then you'll take and turn it upside down and you'll pull this paper backing off, okay? Don't throw this away just yet. What you want to do with this, because we've got to line it up for our keychain, is you want to take and you want to go down a little bit from the top and in a little bit from the side that's got the word give on it, and that's where we want to replace that paper backing. So that way when we flip it back over, we have some reference points to line it up onto our keychain like I did on this one. And then that's kind of where we're at now. I lined this up with my blank to give me a good reference point, and that's where we're at right this second. Got it. Perfect. So for right now, I'm going to take and cover this whole thing because I don't want to get anything sticky on the back of that one to make it unusable. So I'm going to do that for a second. Clear this away for a minute. Alright, so once we've got this here, now we're going to kind of do the same thing that we did to apply our vinyl to our cup. We're going to use that same kind of method for our keychain. Lift it up, remove this paper backing, And then we're going to just work it down with our finger. All the way down. Get it nice and squeegeed on with your finger. And then you can use your squeegee if you need to. Squeegee that on. And then carefully remove your transfer tape so it doesn't lift your decal back up. So just carefully pull that back off of there. And that's what we have now. Now, if you got, because like a part of my, it's kind of hard to see because it's clear. A part of my clear is sticking over the edge because I got it just a little off kilter there. If that is the case for you as well, just take your knife, go along the edge, and just get that cut off. Again, I'm sorry this is clear, so it's kind of hard to see what I'm talking about, but I just have just a tiny bit of that vinyl sticking over the edge. Which is also, it's so small it's hard to cut it off because there's not really a lot to get behind. There we go. You can see how little those pieces was. I mean, it's just barely enough to make a difference. Okay. What we're going to do next, let me make sure that didn't go over the edge there. No, okay. What we're going to do next, because I didn't cut the hole out up here, but what we're going to do is you're going to take your craft knife and you're literally going to stick it in the middle of that hole, boop, and then you're just going to work your craft knife around, carving that hole out. And then pull out that clear vinyl. I didn't cut that hole out just in case somebody didn't get it lined up just perfectly. I didn't want you to have to cut another hole or anything like that. So I left that solid just in case it got off just a little bit. So just kind of take your craft knife around and get that hole cleaned out. Ready to put our UV resin clear coat on top of this. So I'll give everybody a minute to get that applied, get the edges trimmed if you needed to, get that hole cleaned out, and then we'll move on to our UV resin. And then after that, once we get our UV resin cleared, show you how to put the hardware on, and then we're good. So give everybody a few minutes to get caught up to that part if they're not already. Again, give me a good to go or a thumbs up or something. Just let me know when you're ready to move on. Got vinyl stuck to my hand. Good. Awesome. Good. Move it to this side, maybe that'll help. When else good. Awesome. Stacy's good. Awesome. Sandy, how we doing? everybody else that's following along, let me know how we're doing, if you're good. And we'll get this applied on here. Sandy, Linda, Alexis, if you're still in there with me. Another minute and then we'll get started on the next part here. And just make sure you've got your UV resin and your light ready to go, and again your stir stick, popsicle stick, whatever you used a while ago to apply the UV resin to the back. We need that again. Oh, a clean popsicle stick if you use a popsicle stick. We don't want to mix glitter on the top. Unless you want to. Totally up to you. But I like mine clear.
You just might not be able to see.
Yeah. You don't want to get too much glitter on the top of your final decal for sure. You may not be able to read what it says. Although the epoxy additives that they have would be pretty cool in this. Just give the top a little sparkle over your black. That would be pretty neat. Yeah. I have that one little piece of vinyl that does not want to give up. Ha, got it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the topper of this. So what we're gonna do, I'm taking just my clear UV resin. I'm not mixing anything in with it or anything like that, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put it, just like we did a while ago, I'm going to put me some in the middle, and then we're going to pull it out to our edges. Okay, so get you a little pull of it in the middle and work it out to the edges. Just pick an edge and start there, and then just go all the way around. Is a little bit harder to see doing the front of this because it's all clear, so you just kind of have to work with the lighting that you're dealing with and just kind of keep moving your head around to see where you can see like the shininess from the UV resin. And you can do this with regular 2-part epoxy if you want to. I'm just not patient enough for that. So I like the more instant gratification of UV resin on something like this. On my cups, however, though, I do not like using UV resin. I don't, but I know some people do. It's a personal preference. I don't like it.
Sandy said, "LOL." I thought I was messaging here, but someone sent a chat message, and I was responding to it instead of here.
Oh,
I have a bubble in my give tank. You just pop, right?
Yes. If you have a bubble under your give tanks, your decal here, yes, yeah, just pop it. Smush it down, and you're ready for your UV resin. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He forgot the H. But yes, absolutely. If you have a bubble in this vinyl decal that you applied, go ahead and pop it before you put this UV resin on. And we're just working carefully around our blank, pulling it to the edges. Work carefully around your hole, try not to get it in there. Kind of running out of my UV resin, so I'm going to put some more on mine on this one side here. Again, if you're having to add like I am, don't apply it at the edge. Apply it towards the center and then pull it out. Try your best to not have your resin running over the edges. It's a lot easier. I'm sorry if y'all are seeing my head. I'm trying to make sure I get it to the edges and trying to not get my head in y'all's way. So I just kind of work it around with my light. Move my head around, make sure it looks like that UV resin goes all the way to the edge. You can normally see like where the bubble kind of effect or look of your UV resin is going all the way to the edge. And then if you see like just where it goes and flat, that's where you need to push a little bit more UV resin. Normally you can kind of see the difference in like the glass bubble effect look that it gives you when the UV resin is touching the edge versus just the flatness of the acrylic blank if it's not all the way to the edge. Add just a little bit of UV resin right here in this area because I didn't have enough, and so when I'm trying to pull it to the edges, you can see how it's like divoting right there. We don't want that. So add a little there. I'm gonna let it kind of self-level out. Oh, I can see right there where it's flat on that edge. I think mine's good. Looks like I've got UV resin everywhere. It was there, I just couldn't tell. So once you've got your UV resin on, I usually like the last time that I touch it, I like to give it a minute. UV resin pretty much self-levels. So I like to give it a minute to level itself out, and then I'll cure it. And on this also, I'm going to do 2 rounds of 120 seconds to cure this top part as well. While I'm waiting for that to level out, I'm going to grab and clean off my stir stick. I know we've gone a few minutes over, so I hope nobody had anywhere to go like right after the live. If you do, you're more than welcome to go, and you can catch this last bit on replay.
All lives are saved.
Yep, all lives are saved. While this is curing, to get your keychain hardware ready, if you have a pair or 2 of needle nose pliers that you could grab, you can do that now while this is curing for the 2 rounds of 120 seconds, or you can watch me, because this is actually the last step. You can watch me do this, and then you can totally put this on after the live is over as well. But that's what I'll be using in a second. How's everybody doing? Anybody stuck? Anybody have any questions? Let me know. Happy to help, happy to answer. Is what I'm here for. almost like I'm teaching. Novel idea. Love teaching though. Love it. Kind of clean up my area. It's one thing that drives me crazy. Dirty crafting space. I know you're supposed to not have like perfectly clean, but I don't know. Can't help it. One more round of 120. It's still just a tiny tacky. We don't want tacky. We don't want any tacky UV resin. If you need anything. Heart, heart, heart. Got lots of hearts that came. Pop, pop, pop. I do appreciate everybody that is watching, everybody that bought one of my kits and supporting me and my new adventure of live teaching instead of in-person teaching. So this has truly been a blessing to be able to get to do this. Right, now we're good. So now this is what we've got. We've got our glitter cured on the back. We have our nice and clear UV resin on the front over our decal. So this is our finished keychain. Well, almost finished. We've got to put the hardware on. But as far as the actual acrylic piece, this is good to go. So set that to the side. Give everybody a minute if theirs isn't cured just yet. Well, you have more kits and projects to come. I do plan on having more kits and projects to come. I'm trying to work on the logistics of having like a monthly subscription. I do have my Create with Michelle group on Facebook that I've already done some other lives and stuff on. So I would love to have y'all join me on there. I just kind of pop up and do some. I plan on, like I said, having a subscription group where I want to put together a box every month and have my subscription members there and have a more detailed like Facebook group for them that kind of goes into more intricate cups and things like that. So that is something I am working on. Hopefully in the very near future I can get all of the logistics of that worked out and have them available. So yes, I do plan on it. I love your teaching style. Thanks. That makes me happy. Thank you, Sandy. I think it's just from me teaching so many years in person and knowing that, you know, the teacher, yes, is going to move faster than the students, but that's why I'm the teacher. I don't, I teach in a pace that I think is good to follow along with. I try to move through the steps, not too fast, but fast enough where y'all can kind of see me and you're not sitting there waiting and looking at me. But I also know that I need to stop and I need to wait and have people catch up. I don't like to get so far ahead to where people are going, wait a minute, I don't remember what you did 2 steps ago, because that's where I'm at. So I want to stop and have some patience and wait for everybody to catch up. So I think that just comes from me teaching in person for so long. Just having that pace kind of where I've got it set at that I feel is a comfortable pace for everybody. So, thank you. Alright, so now hopefully everybody's got theirs cured. If not, let me know. Also, let me know if you're ready to move on, and I'll show you how we do the hardware part. Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you. I think that was kind of the most nerve-wracking part for me teaching live. I'm like, oh, I know some people can be kind of mean out there, but like I was saying earlier, this group really, I haven't seen, Teresa's good. I really haven't seen people be like that in this group, so that's very heartwarming as well. Awesome. Okay, so what we're gonna do now with our hardware, you'll see it's got this big, just lost my train of thought, the O-ring on this end, and then the chain is actually the chain on this part. We're gonna take off this O-ring from the big ring part, and we're gonna flip it around. We wanna put this chain end on this key ring part. So this is what we actually want to have. We want to have the O-ring here and the chain connected to the actual keychain ring, because this is what has the split. If I can get it around here, this is what has the split in it for us to be able to put this part on our keychain blank. So this part is what we need on the end, and the chain connected to the ring. So if you're following along, go ahead and get that part done. And I usually take 2 pairs of pliers. I take 1 on each side, just like so, 1 on each side of that opening. And I just kind of go whoop and twist it open. Okay? I usually keep 1 pair of pliers on that one side. Usually it's my dominant hand. I'm right-handed, so I keep it there. And then I take and I put my acrylic blank on the other side, grab my pair of pliers, close it right back up. So now we have our full finished keychain. Thanks. So this is what we should have. So now you should have your tumbler and your keychain. The keychain is totally finished once you get your hardware on. Your tumbler, last thing you need to do is just put your coat of epoxy on. So just get your final coat of epoxy on there, and you're good. So I will hang out here for a few more minutes and let everybody have a chance to ask any questions that you may have. And of course, if you're watching this on a replay, feel free to message me. I can answer you. Feel free to make a comment. Do #replay so I know where you're at on the video, and I can come back and answer questions there. I'm always available. Just ask questions. If I don't get to you right then, I do work at our store Monday through Friday. I'm usually here from about 8 to 3:30. I try to answer as much as I can in between adulting. And then today we do have a movie, but
Sandy said if my epoxy isn't level, can you do a second coat?
yes, you can do a second coat of epoxy, absolutely. Go ahead and get your first coat of epoxy on your tumbler, and then if you need to sand anything after that coat is fully cured, go ahead and give it a good sanding, get it leveled out where you need to level it out, and then apply another coat of epoxy. You absolutely can, for sure. Stacy, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Yeah, after we finish up this, we are going to go see a movie. It didn't look level on the keychain. Oh, okay, yes. Yeah, you can do the same thing on your keychain. If it's not level, you can go ahead and add a second coat. You can do, if your UV resin is totally cured, you can do just a light sanding on your UV resin to kind of help smooth out anything, and then apply a second coat of that as well on the UV resin. Your key to that is just to make sure that your first coat is completely cured, so you don't have stickiness, and then you've got your sanding dust sticking to the uncured epoxy and things like that. But yes, you absolutely can on your keychain as well. Front, back, anything like that. UV resin, yep. Yep. UV resin, you can certainly do that.
I was trying to avoid the hole and it's too thin.
Yeah. Yeah, finding that little touch sometimes takes a little bit of doing a few. So, let's see. I have a weird question. My cup was a little sticky, not bad, but a little, so it's a little dull after we finished with it. Will it look better after the final coat of epoxy? Yes, yes it will. Yeah, anywhere that it may have been sticky where you kind of stuck your finger to it or something like that, it will. Go ahead and let your epoxy finish curing though before you apply that second coat. Give it another hour or so. Make sure your temperature is right in your room for your epoxy and things like that. Let that go ahead and cure for a little longer, and then apply that next coat of epoxy on your cup, and you'll be able to get this shiny finish. Absolutely. Anybody else have any questions? Need any help? And as I said at the beginning, those of you that were on my live or have watched my live last night, now you're watching this one. I did talk about the ornament magic. Somebody had mentioned that they wanted to see that. That was on kind of their to-do list. So I did bring some ornament magic and some empty ornaments up here with me. I will probably hop on here tomorrow afternoon, evening-ish, and show y'all how to do that. I would do it this afternoon, but I have a movie to go to with my son. So, and it's like 3 hours long, so I'll get done at like 7 o'clock Central Time tonight. But I will definitely hop on there tomorrow, or hop on here tomorrow and show y'all how to do that. Let me grab, I did bring some finished ones so that y'all could see in case somebody didn't know what I'm talking about.
Sandy said, oh yeah, please tag.
Yes, will do. So, this is, I have to feed babies, I'm late and they are whining. Oh no, yes, Sandy, go for it. This is the ornament magic I was talking about yesterday. This again is from the Crystal Company as well. These are some of the ones that I had left from what I made last year with this ornament magic on these ornaments. So this is what we were talking about. So I will hop on here tomorrow and show y'all how I do these. So, those are pretty. Thanks, Sandy. Yeah, I bought little bows off of Amazon just to kind of finish them up. I thought that added a little cute little touch. So, thank you. So, yeah. Alright, guys. If y'all don't have any more questions, I'm going to hop off here and get some things done before we head to the movies. Like I said, if y'all have questions, reply to here, comment on here. Shoot me a message, anything like that, and I'll be happy to answer. If I don't answer right away, I definitely will get to you just as soon as I can if I'm busy at the moment. But just let me know. Thank you. Love doing the live with you. Thanks, Teresa. I love doing it with y'all too. like I said, I'm so appreciative of everybody that is watching, that supported me, that bought my kit, and is getting to see the beginning of my journey teaching live. So,
thank you, Joe and Casa.
Yes, yeah, thank you, Joe and Casa, for sure. Joe for the idea, Casa for getting it together, helping, and everything else. So, yeah, just let me know if y'all have any questions. I'm going to hop off here. Thanks again. It has been a blessing and an honor to teach y'all. Let me know if you need anything. All right, guys. Thanks. Bye.